All right. Welcome back to another episode of Scotch Hour. This is Noah.
And this is Jesse.
And this is Casey.
All right. Well, hey, welcome, Casey. You're our special guest this evening.
Yeah, I'm pretty excited. Been wanting to come on the show for a hot minute now, so.
Nice.
How long is a hot minute?
You know, it's anywhere between maybe like a couple days, couple months.
All right.
It's a
like
pretty versatile word, just like the word boolin, you know.
All right.
Lagabooing.
All right. Well, since I have officially been waiting to drink this scotch for a hot minute, so.
Scotch Review.
All right. This evening, we are going to enjoy, as was once enjoyed in a lost episode, the Glenmorangie Nectar Dior.
If anyone ever finds that last episode, let us know.
Yeah, there's a reward. It's like, I mean, it's actually a real reward too. It's not like the one we offered for Brian. And then when his wife said she found him, we were like, no, we're keeping our $5, man. No, you can have him.
We still have to go hunting after Sasquatch.
Yeah, Sasquatch took him. All right, so the Nectar Dior comes in a gold box, pretty bright. I would say decorative. You don't even really have to do more than put a bow on this baby if you're going to give it as a gift.
Right. So this one has been aged in American bourbon and Sauterne casks.
Yeah, they really celebrate the ex-bourbon casks, although the Sauterne casks absolutely are more of a delicacy, if you will, not as common.
Yeah. So from my time as a wine buyer,
As a wine drinker.
and wine drinker. Just for those who don't know, Sauternes are a French wine out of Bordeaux. They're usually sweet wine. And so what happens is because of the climate there, they get what's called noble rot. And that's when when the grapes start turning more towards like raisin, they have like a higher residual sugar to them. And
Please don't ever say noble rot again.
So in Bordeaux for these Sauternes, they use three grape varietals that kind of make the complexity of those wines.
All right. Well, the bottle, much like the box, label brilliant gold. And we're going to pop this baby open and taste it.
All right.
You got some notes, Glenmorangie revisiting the depth.
Yes, I do. But do you have any information on this?
Anything you want to say?
Is it Glenmorangie or Glenmorangie? Because I Googled it and they gave me both pronunciations.
So the way that I often hear it from people who are from European descent is Glenmorangie. I typically call it Glenmorangie. Noah, be the deciding factor. Glenmorangie? Let's go with Glenmorangie. I like the word more.
Glenmorangie.
Ng.
I think I'm ready for more NGs, you know?
How about Glenmorangie? All right, so Glenmorangie history here. It was established in 1843 by Farmer Will
and
his wife Anne. It's actually William Matheson and his wife Anne. But they're really known for their tall stills. They have the tallest stills in Scotland, so they have like really long necks. And the casks are usually customized to their specifications. And they say, quote unquote, their spirit animal is the giraffe.
interesting fun fact. This year, Glenmorangie came out with a special limited edition bottle and box of their normal 10-year. And the box is actually a metal tin painted bright orange with a little bit of yellow on it to celebrate the giraffe and their donations to the giraffe and the fact that basically let's call it their spirit animal.
Yeah.
I've got one upstairs if you want to see it later.
So so they did go into a partnership with the Giraffe Conservation Foundation to help save the giraffes. Apparently, I didn't know this, but apparently their numbers have dwindled down quite low for the giraffes. I didn't know they were kind of sort of a endangered animal.
Oh yeah, low.
Unless you look at their necks and just high.
Man,
And and apparently, one of their prized assets, I guess, in their area, is the I don't know how to pronounce it properly, but it looks like a Tarlogi Springs or something like that.
that's what he said.
That's what I said. So I probably butchered it, but they said that the water there gives it the mineral type flavor that they're well known for.
The giraffe water.
The giraffe water.
Little yellow in color. Who knows? Speaking of which, do you know the giraffe has the biggest heart of all mammals?
I would have thought it would have been a whale.
I know most people do, but the giraffe needs a giant heart to pump all that blood way up that long neck to get to its teeny little brain.
Okay, but the real question is, if a giraffe were to wear a tie, right? Does it wear like at the very bottom of the neck or like the very top of the neck, like right under the head?
Are we talking a bow tie or are we talking like a normal necktie?
Probably just like well, let's go both because I know you were talking about like bow ties last night at dinner a lot.
So I'm thinking bow tie up like down, maybe like near the. I don't know. I think top on both of them because I think if you have like a normal tie, if it's really super long, you can go all the way down.
What I am going to say is that
You can take the sexual undertone out of that. I guess
doesn't
that sounds okay.
matter if it's a bow tie or a long tie. It goes
top?
just above the chest at the base of the neck, as any designer would design their bow ties and neckties
So it
to
won't
properly
go down.
fit in the collar and be adjustable. Now, not that a giraffe could do that, but there are some sweet bow ties with giraffes on them. Why we chose this scotch for this evening is because of some tasting notes of whiskeys in particular that Casey has shared that she has enjoyed with us.
Which were?
I typically go for like the more sweeter ones. I guess right now the Johnny Walker Black is really good just because you really do get those like caramelly tastes. And then, I feel like every like whiskey company under the sun, they're like, oh, you're going to taste the maple and the wood and all this stuff. But I feel like with these really nice sweet scotches, you actually taste the flavors that the website boasts about. And that's something I'm like a huge fan of.
All right.
Outstanding. All right. So the color for me, it definitely looks like a very deep gold in the bottle poured. I'm going with a medium gold, but it is a gold. It's not that brassy look that the Macallan 6 had. So the color, very medium to light gold. What do you feel? What are you seeing, Casey?
See, for me, it's like kind of like a honey color. Maybe like an iced tea, but not like one of those like really dark teas, but just kind of like a chill like iced tea. It's kind of the vibes I'm getting from it.
I will go with the light gold.
All right, on the nose, definitely getting a little floral, which I love. I love flowers. You spoke of honey. You got the honey there. A little citrus, a little vanilla. Got a little bit of heat, 46% alcohol by volume. Has just been opened. As we have learned, the longer the bottle sits open, the more it has that chance to breathe, the less you get that alcohol.
And the more you drink, the faster it dies.
Unless you drink fast enough that it's gone by the next day. And then the faster you die.
So the alien here is just reminding us that if it's a half or more, you can keep it for 2 years, right?
Yeah, but how does the alien remind you of that God
I don't know. 'Cause
foretell?
he's like pointing. He's like pointing.
Yeah, I don't get that from the alien.
I don't know. He's always like here, like right by my side, I guess. The truth is out there.
Truth is out there. Ooh, on the palate, I'm getting a little bit of cinnamon dancing on my tongue.
It's definitely just has that really nice like kick of like a really strong liquor. And then at the end, like you really do feel like that vanilla-y flavor, but it's more like a vanilla ice cream.
So they're talking about from their tasting notes on here that their ideas are sweet citrus with lemon curd, vanilla shortbread, oak spice is probably like where you're getting your cinnamon from, and then some dried fruit and honey.
I'm just basing this on my previous tasting notes and what I'm tasting tonight.
No, I get that. I'm just saying, like, this is kind of like what they're saying that we should be picking up.
Glenmorangie.
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 Nailed it.
What's up, Craigalacki? And in case anyone's wondering what we're talking about, you need to go back all the way back to about episode 16, 17, when we decided to try the Craigalacki 18 and found out it's Craig Ella King.
No, it's Craig Ella Key.
That's what I said. You know, it's tough. You mentioned some of your whiskeys that you enjoy drinking. This isn't as full body as I remembered.
Well, for me, I do pick up on that sweetness that you would get from a Sauterne, so I do like it. I enjoy that.
So I've tried the 12-year version of the Glenmorangie before. I think that one's honestly just a little bit more sweet. I feel like it just doesn't have, the 12-year doesn't have as much of that kick as this one does. And so you're able to really taste those like sweeter notes a lot more. And this one's definitely just like a lot of like in your face flavor. It's definitely different, but I am kind of a fan.
It's time for our shout-outs.
In the essence of Brian, I've got one very important shout out. Aiden, you made the basketball team. Congratulations. That's awesome. Like literally, you know, when 40 kids are trying out for one team and some of his friends didn't make their teams.
Really?
So that's tough. Some of the kids that he goes to, even just this past weekend right here at 24 Hour Fitness and play 8 hours a day with, didn't all make the team. So Aiden, man, that's just awesome. Congratulations. I'm super proud of you. I still want your Lakers jacket if you're willing to give it to me.
Congratulations.
And just keep living the dream. I'm proud of you. You work hard, you play hard. I love to watch you play basketball and keep it in the zone. I'm proud of you.
All right, so I do have a shout out for this episode.
Yes.
Not going to name drop, but it's someone that I used to work with, someone I'd considered like a really good friend for the past year and a half. And he's recently moved on from where we worked and he's gotten like a new job. And I don't know, I just really want to give him a shout out for just being such a great friend, being so influential. And he's honestly like the reason I even got into this podcast in the first place. So, you know, gotta kind of thank him for me being here right now. And, you know, just good luck, man. Like you're a great person, you're a hard worker, and like you really mean a lot to me. So
that's a good one. Yeah. My shout out is to Casey to thank you for being our guest host tonight. So thank you for joining us, and I guess thank you Casey's friend for having her influence her to come on to the podcast or be introduced to the podcast.
Restaurant Review.
The Odyssey Italian restaurant, Denver. Mm-hmm. And it is, you know, without trying just to group it into another bunch of restaurants, it was a fun adventure. And I think that is a good way to sum it up.
I would agree with that. Casey, any thoughts on the restaurant there?
I mean, overall, I really liked it. I know it had some historical landmarkness to it. I think you guys were paying like a little bit more attention when he was explaining it than I did. If you guys want to talk about that a little bit more.
Yeah, so from my understanding, it was built in 1908.
1908.
And the structure itself is a landmark place, or it's a landmark, whatever.
Historic Denver landmark.
Yeah, historic Denver landmark. Okay, there we go. And when you drive up to it, you can definitely spot it at night because it's like has like a ton of Christmas lights over it, all like on the trees and everything like that. It's pretty well lit up. And when you kind of look at the pictures, you can tell it's like an older building, and then it has like a little bit of character to it. And when you first walk in, I forget what that area was in the old house, but like where we sat was in the old dining room. And then if you're lucky enough, I guess you can go through the kitchen and sit upstairs where the upstairs dining room is located as well.
Going into the Odyssey Italian restaurant, I mean it's interesting. So one thing that was very nice, the three of us got there really honestly, like if we want to be truthful, we were there 10 minutes early. And so we waited 10 minutes for our table. And because we waited, they did gift us the treat of 3 glasses of Prosecco. And we enjoyed that while we were waiting for the table. I was a little jealous. Casey got a strawberry on hers. I didn't get that. I love strawberries.
I didn't get that either.
I had to take in any fruit, maybe even a vegetable. Man, I was just like looking at this. I'm like, why is mine boring? All right, come on, guys.
So yeah, that's Javi. He's like the I don't know if you call him like the maitre d' there or whatever, but he's like the host, I guess.
Yeah.
And apparently he had been there. He's been there for a while. He also works at DPS. He said so.
Denver Public Schools. That's what DPS stands for. Nothing else.
Okay, I'm not sure what you're hinting at there, but
Denver Public Schools. He said he loved working for Denver Public Schools, and I told him he was working for the wrong school district. By the way, Denver Public Schools, you need to start paying your people more like Cherry Creek.
Yeah, but I think even if he was paid more, I would almost imagine he probably still would work there. He seemed to really love the job there.
Right. I was just talking about the salary differences
yes,
are egregious.
he probably could be paid more, just like most teachers.
And then pay me more because, inflation, guys.
So he was actually really cool. The way it first started off, I think you were both outside, or you were just walking up, and Jesse's outside taking pictures, and I went in. And the bartender was the first person to greet me, and I told him that we do a podcast and that we're here to do a restaurant review. So he talked to some people, and that's how we ended up being in the living room area. And that's,
fireplace room is what they called it.
Oh, the fireplace.
That's
room?
what they call that chunk of the home.
And then that's also, I think, how we ended up with Mario too.
All right.
Who did a great job. Unfortunately, he talked a little bit too soft for me, so I felt like I was deaf half the time.
The guy was like 180 years old. Give him a break. He's like a vampire without eternal life.
I know, my favorite part was when he would ask you a question. You're just kind of sitting there like,
yeah.
What?
I honestly could not hear
I was like,
him,
a sphincter says what?
but I thought he did an awesome job regardless. So what did you get to eat there?
Well, before I get to the food, I'm going to talk a little bit more about getting into this restaurant. So the one thing I didn't find super easy necessarily, although it's the luck of the draw, man. If you are super confident with a teeny little car and you don't mind parking up on curbs, like a little Honda Fit, then you're going to find parking space right down there. No problem. You're going to park in someone's front yard because you ran over the curb. It's cool. Wasn't a problem. But if you got a bigger car, a bigger party, might come down to you needing to find a lucky parking space. That was the one thing that I didn't think was super easy about it. But walking up, evening, come in, built on basically an old house. And things I loved and things I didn't love. But I'm going to focus on what I loved about this place. You go in and it's dimly lit. Could have used a little more light in from my perspective, but dimly lit, very busy. You can tell it is definitely a neighborhood staple. The staff in general was all fantastic. They loved being there. And that's one of the things that I will say stood out most about my entire experience. It didn't matter if it was Mario or Javi or any of these people who were employed by the Odyssey. It's the fact that they loved being there, and that was very clear. They were all super helpful, friendly, and gracious. We did wait our 10 minutes. We were early, no big deal, to get a table. Again, just the lighting. And as you look around, this is a place that also people take pride in. And this isn't the place where you normally would see a loft set up where you got concrete walls and maybe a few things hung up there or some spray paint, or you got a bed and a dresser and that's your decor amongst 10 plants. This place had history, and you could tell, it's 112 years, almost 113 years in existence there. And it showed on the walls. You saw prints and pictures of some of the waitstaff, Mario, for example, from 60 years ago. The guy's been working there forever. And Ferraris. Who doesn't love a picture of a Ferrari on the wall? But a lot of great things. And because of that, if you don't want a cluttered place, and I don't always want a cluttered place, it's not the place for you. But if you want a place that's just easygoing, I'd say for me in particular, a summer early dinner or a lunch, this place was dynamite, especially with a friend. You go in, you kick back, you have some fun. They're not trying to race you out the door. They're letting you enjoy your time. And I appreciate that about them. Now, that being said, the food also was fantastic. For me, when it comes to Italian, it's very difficult not to think of my 5-star favorite Italian restaurants. It literally is difficult not to compare them.
Italian's easy to make. What are you talking about?
Yeah, thanks, Brian. All right, whatever, man. Yeah, okay, so diving into that, since Italian's so easy to make, so I had veal bracciole. It's an old world veal scallopini recipe where the veal is stuffed with mozzarella, provolone, Genoa salami, prosciutto, ham, spinach, raisins, and then braised with homemade marinara and bow tie pasta along with organic vegetables. So that was my dinner. It was absolutely homemade. And that's how I would really classify this at the end of the day. If I want to go for a 5-star dinner and I'm trying to knock someone's socks off wearing a tux or a suit, and I did elect not to wear a suit. I wore my Iron Man Robert Graham shirt. If I elected to wear a suit, I would not go there. But if I want something a little more casual, still can be romantic, that is the place for me. It is fun. It's easygoing. It's friendly. I think it was perfect for the three of us to have a joint venture there. And also, man, they made my whiskey sour pretty on par. It was perfect. So the last thing I'll say is their bread. I still miss Macaroni Grill's loaves of bread with big salt and herbs on top, but this was probably right there along with it, completely different, a softer bread, which I actually appreciated, and lots of Parmesan, some fresh basil, and is dynamite. So the food was great. Again, homemade food. So this isn't the 5-star food. It's not my linguistini that are cut in half and grilled with a butter, or my crab campanelli, or my eggplant rollatini with giant shrimp and crab chunks in it. However, what it is that genuine homemade. This is a place that if you're Italian, you love to go, and it was fun.
Okay, Casey.
So overall, I would say that I really did enjoy going there. I honestly don't live as lavish of a lifestyle as Jesse does. So for the most part, my, Italian dining experience is mostly like Olive Garden, maybe some like Maggiano's here and there. So nothing like super, super crazy and fancy, but I really did just love the atmosphere there. I thought it was like really charming, really cute. I loved like the decorations in it. And this is something that like Noah was freaking out about, but they had really nice bathrooms. And you just
Wouldn't
don't
let it go.
That's just like something you don't really get at, like an Olive Garden. It like really did feel like you were kind of just being treated with like a more fancy experience than you were expecting. And like Jesse was saying, like I got a little strawberry with my prosciutto earlier, and at the end, Mario brought me like a little rose, and he's like, "This is for the lady." And it's just like a really great place to really feel like you're a lot cooler and more special than you really are. So for the food, I was actually debating between, the really classic fettuccine Alfredo and this capellini, pomodoro, and basil. I asked Mario, and he just says, "All right, you're getting the capellini pomodoro, 100%. Didn't even like talk about, why I should get it. He just said, "That's what you're getting." I'm like, "All right, sure." Overall, like the food was pretty good. This is like something kind of weird to be like really into, but the temperature that it came out at was just perfect. Like it was warm enough and hot to where just each bite felt really, really amazing. And then like even as the night went on, like it still like maintained that really nice temperature. And that's such a weird thing to like be really into, but I really appreciated that. My only like downside to that, I definitely should have ordered like a meat with it because it kind of ended up just being like a spaghetti with red sauce. And honestly, like as I kept like drinking some of the wine, like I kind of started thinking, is this really worth all the money? Could I just make this with like spaghetti and red sauce? But looking back at it, like it definitely was super good. Eating the leftovers, super, super good. So overall, I really liked it. And then like Jesse, I also ordered the whiskey sour, and I just love a good bar that like really puts in that extra effort. They like dry shake it with the egg, so it gets like that little layer of foam on top. It was like garnished with a couple cherries. Like I've never had a whiskey sour that was like that fancy. So that was like super cool for me too.
Awesome. So for me, to talk about the bathroom, I think you
Okay, wait a minute. Hold up. Two things I have to say before I forget. Where was my damn rose, Mario? Because I love flowers. I would have it right here, right now, tonight. So I'm just letting you know, Mario, you may think you did the right thing, but maybe you didn't, because, you know, I love roses. And then second of all, man, I'm only one soap shy of 3 soaps in that bathroom, all right? Jesus,
Yeah, but
all
did,
right.
did you have like the mouthwash and the hairspray and the lotion in there too?
So that's what I was going to bring up. So
Yeah, what's the lotion for?
When you talk about the about I forget which was it Johnny's Cafe or whatever it was, that's that Asian restaurant we went to with Brian.
Oh my God, let's not.
So that restaurant, right? The urinal, whatever it was, like honestly, it was so small that even Brian talks about like you had to like finagle your way in there. Something you had to stand sideways and kind of aim.
Or just have a decent shot.
Or just stand back and kind of like. But in any case,
I'm just saying I hit the target.
you didn't even go in there, right? Or
No,
did you?
I didn't. I took a
Oh.
picture. I still have it. And I'm like,
Oh. So, anyways, after that, you know, I do look at the restrooms. I'm like, okay, well, that restroom was like really poorly set up. Like they probably shouldn't have that like little wall there. Any case, this one, it had like it had 3 different types of like soap, Listerine mouthwash, hairspray, which I have no idea why you need hairspray in the men's bathroom. And you
Or maybe
also-
you're like
Roaches.
Jesse, you know, you're gonna look
Roaches.
really nice.
but I don't need hairspray
what,
for that.
roaches?
Yeah, dude. No, dude, what the hell? No.
roach clip?
What are you talking about? I'm talking about the roaches might be walking around. You pull out a lighter and turn it into a torch. Dude,
I thought you
what?
were talking about like a roach clip.
No.
I thought you meant you just like sprayed on the roach, make it like all sticky and stuff. I'm like, okay.
That works too. Dude, it kills them. It gets their wings. They can't grow or they fly.
And then as Casey was saying, they do have lotion in the men's restroom too, which I thought that was a little bit weird. I thought the hairspray was a little bit weird. And I didn't really see the need for 3 different types of like soaps, but hey. it was
Okay,
there.
what were the 3 types of soaps?
I don't even remember.
So it didn't leave an impression.
Well, okay, I remember.
Mario,
I remember
get rid of 2.
one of them was lavender, and that was like the one on the left. And then there were like 2 smaller ones on the right. I didn't look at those because I wasn't about to spend like 5 minutes like smelling all the soaps and stuff. So
Washing your hands
But
3
you
times.
did have options. And I did not get a whiskey sour, by the way.
you got a salad.
I did get I got a Caesar salad. The Caesar salad was really nice. It had nice flavor to it. It was done really well. It had the really nice strips of Parmesan on there, and it had just enough hint of a lemon and just enough hint of the anchovy type of flavor that you get with a nice Caesar salad. And my meal was was it ossobuco? Is that what I got?
Veal ossobuco, yes. It is an Italian delicacy for sure.
And honestly, I didn't even know what the hell I ordered.
I did because I had it at Il Mulino, a 5-star Italian restaurant. And
the
it
only reason why I
can
didn't
be delicious.
And the reason why I didn't know is because I couldn't hear Mario. I'm just like, give me whatever.
No, it's like, which dinner do I want with this one?
well,
Yeah.
first he said
The
lamb,
lamb
right?
shanks.
And you're
Yeah.
like, well,
No,
I don't really
no
want
lamb.
lamb. And so he's like, oh, it's just.
And
You're like, yeah, okay.
I'm like, dude, at Il Mulino, that's a $65 dinner before inflation. Like, whoa. No, it was living it rich. It wasn't $65 there. Their prices were good.
Yeah, I don't even know. Sure, you what? Was it even on the menu? I didn't even see it on the menu.
Yeah, man. And they're like, it was like $40. My veal was only 32. Your pasta was 20 with an extra meat, probably an extra $5. Yeah, like.
But then
all
we
of it
also
was
got
good.
the Brunello. One part I did like a lot too is they put it in a decanter for us instead of just leaving it in the bottle.
Yeah.
Which I thought was really nice of them to do. That helps open up the wine and get it to room temperature. And it actually matches my meal very well.
Mine as well.
And I would say it reminded me a lot of the Buckhorn Exchange. So if you like the Buckhorn Exchange, I think this is another really great restaurant to go to. I mean, it's kind of like an old building, just like the Buckhorn Exchange is. It has certain areas or certain rooms where even in the Buckhorn Exchange, it's kind of tight and cramped in some areas, and then in other areas, it's a little bit more open. This one, I didn't see the little bit more open part, but it did remind me of some of the more tighter areas like you would see in the Buckhorn Exchange in the downstairs area or in the back room with the bear. In any case, I thought it's a great place. I think the parking sucks.
I mean, it's just a challenge.
I do also have like one more really small critique about the restaurant is that I know we talked a lot about how it's like kind of casual, but also kind of fancy. But again, for me, like part of the experience and part of the fun about going out to eat is either like getting dressed up real nice or like getting ready to just go out and have some fun with friends. I think it kind of like was really weird and like tiptoed that line between like trying to be really fancy, but also trying to be casual. So you had some people there and, you know, like fur coats, but then you also had some people there in like a hoodie and shorts. You know, it was definitely just like some mixed vibes going on there. I think if it did kind of choose one side or the other, I would have just liked it a little bit more, but I don't know. That could also just be my more like girly side talking there, so.
All right, Noah, you want to rank this restaurant first?
I'm just going to give it pretty much 8.5 across the board. I'll just make it simple that way.
I don't know that. Okay. Casey, how would you rate the restaurant?
So I know last night I said like 8.5. I was thinking about it a little bit more. I think it's definitely maybe more like an 8, only because I feel like I just didn't really get to experience like their best food that they had. I kind of blame myself for that, like, but overall, like the atmosphere, the experience, that was all great. But I really wish I was able to try like a little bit more stuff while I was there.
All right. For me, atmosphere, I'm going to rate it very similar to Fogo de Chao. I'm going to give it an 8 there. And that's only because I like it a little more spacious, a little bit more lit. Those would be my two things. An 8, by the way, that's still a B. So don't critique it negatively just based on that. That's still good. For the food, I'm going to give it a 10. And this is where it's tough, is because normally I would say a 9, but I am feeling like as far as a home cooked fashion style of Italian meal, something that's authentic, that's where they nailed it. And it's not that it was, and not to take away from it, it's not the same as what you would necessarily get at a 5-star as far as presentation, but flavor and home cook. Like, this is something, if my mom brings it, yeah, I'm coming home every weekend from college, I am eating this, I am gaining weight, and it's one fancy meal. So it was really good. So the food, definitely a 10. The service, I'm giving a 10. You know, Mario may have been a little hard to speak.
But he was literally there maybe like every 15 minutes. He's like ready to refill our wine glasses. Yeah. Like, he's ready to go.
Yeah.
And he boxed our food for us, and obviously he gave you a rose, so that's kind of cool.
Yeah, what the? Anyway.
You didn't get a flower. I
didn't get a rose.
And we didn't get
or strawberry.
But your plate had like the rosemary on fire. I feel like that was like,
that was kind of cool.
I feel like that has to gain some bonus points right there.
Yeah. I just remember like going, what is on fire?
Okay.
Oh, it's my plate.
The rose I don't have.
No, I just got flaming rosemary.
So total package for me, it's still, this is tough because I don't want to like blur these different lines. It is right up there with Fogo de Chao. It's someplace I can go with a friend. It's someplace I could dress up with, but I would feel a little out of place dressed up for me. This is interesting because, Casey, you brought up a very valid point. I wouldn't want to be wearing a t-shirt and shorts, but I literally, when I looked at all the pictures before going to dinner, I was also like, man, I am going to stand out like a sore thumb in one of my suits. Whereas I didn't feel like that at Fogo de Chao. There are lots of restaurants. I actually have been to the Buckhorn Exchange in a tuxedo, and I didn't feel that way. And I don't know all of the reasons why. Maybe it's because of all the fur hanging up on the walls in the Buckhorn Exchange, all the heads and whatnot. But it was a little bit different. And that's just me, though. It's not. I'm not taking anything away. It's more of a home, comfortable setting, and there's great things with comfort. Total package, though, it is absolutely a 9. The last thing I would say is, man, I understand why. But I would have loved a little more diverse selection of wine. Full bar, absolutely, they will nail your drink. But I would have loved a little bit more diverse selection of wine.
So as far as the casual versus like being dressed up there or formal, I think it would be more like a business casual type of place. I think you go there wearing a suit but not wearing a tie with your suit, like having just like button down after you just got done, doing whatever kind of work. And hanging out maybe with like coworkers or colleagues, but I also think on the flip side that it is kind of laid back enough to where you could go in a hoodie and shorts if you wanted to.
Somebody did.
Somebody did. But I did call up to verify like if it was casual.
Can I show up in a hoodie and shorts? Yes. Is this Mario? Yes. Can you hear me? Yes.
I think it's a little better than showing up in like a full fur coat, you know? I think that's a little tacky.
I don't know, man.
Is someone show up in a full...
Didn't you see the lady right when we walked in? That's why we were like...
Obviously, I did not.
I didn't mind it. I love animal. If you can afford to wear animals, go for it.
How do you know it wasn't like the fake fur?
I don't.
Smarter Captains.
So I was doing some kind of research with Tartaria, and sometimes I get like these like emails or these like notifications about Tartaria and some other things, and so I go down these various rabbit holes. And this one popped up from Reddit about this guy talking about cold fusion and how back in, I think it was in the 90s, Palm and the other guy's name.
Is it like Fleischer?
Yeah, that they actually did discover cold fusion, but then the government hid it from everybody, and then it's like a pretty long little thread he does here in Reddit, which kind of goes down to like he has like 37 points, and it kind of goes through all these things like cold fusion, and then there's here. I have it somewhere.
Anti-gravitational powers.
The moon, moon catalyzed fusion, and then there's the energy technology that Dr. Judy Wood talks about with 9/11, and then thorium batteries and how they do like anti-gravitational and kind of power the Nazi UFOs, things like that, and then how some of these people, these scientists who did find this technology, either went missing or randomly, mysteriously died somehow. And so I thought it'd be kind of a cool, like, conspiracy type thread thing to look at and talk about. So, you want to start? Who wants to start?
Dude, we're going to let the conspiracy theorist, Noah the Great, start, and then we will throw our pros or cons at you, and let's see if any of them stick. It's going to be like, here we go.
Well, how about this? How about we go like go at it this way? First of all, do you think cold fusion is possible?
Cold fusion is absolutely possible.
Okay, would you agree with that?
I would say so.
Oh, got it.
And with do you believe that they actually created cold fusion?
I feel like anytime there's like a scientific discovery that immediately either gets shut down or immediately kind of gets like hidden or covered up, I feel like there's just a high probability that it is actually possible. But that only kind of stems from like my overall love of conspiracies and like my mild skepticism of the government. So
I was just gonna say mild skepticism.
I mean, I'm not trying to get like shot on my drive home, so I'm gonna say mild.
So all I'm gonna say is here's where it gets tricky: is that we have heard that at our altitude, it's not possible to produce cold fusion. Yet we were being told the government hid on one side of the story. I know there's another side. On one side of the story, we're being told the government hid the fact that they created cold fusion. So if this altitude disables its potential, then
weren't these guys in high altitude? That's what it said. Like,
see you Boulder, man.
yeah. And then like I guess apparently they stumbled upon it because they had to be at high altitude with the sun. But I think this is why I think having a mild skepticism about the government is that anytime you have something that would produce free energy, that would be something that could be at risk to like national security and being able to like maintain dominance over other countries, or also you have the so-called global elites who would not be able to make money off of free energy anymore. So if cold fusion was possible and is possible, and they did discover how to make it happen, it would make sense that maybe one or both or anybody who comes up and discovers it would go missing or have some kind of mysterious death, and the government would sweep in and take that technology and hold it from the public.
That is one possibility.
What's the other?
I mean, there's a lot of possibilities, bro. Other possibility is they were in CU Boulder. They were drunk from being hazed the night before, smoking weed, said they created cold fusion. Then people wanted them to prove it. And then people told them, hey, dude, I will give you $2 billion to prove to me how to do cold fusion. They're like, okay, cool. And then they went disappearing because they couldn't do it. Just another off the wall side thing. But, one thing I don't remember, but I do think is important to breach the subject is this article talking about the fact that if energy became free, the dynamic impacts that would have.
Well, there's also Nikola Tesla. He apparently came up with free energy. And
right. I'm just going off your...
Well, I think
article.
I think Tesla, it makes a good point of being tied in here when you're talking about free energy or something like cold fusion, and how like what happened to his work? Like the government came in.
Oh, we know they have book number, and I believe it's actually number 13 that's missing from the library. It's crazy. Yeah, no, I don't. Here's the thing that we have to understand is that the government, to protect themselves and sometimes us, will hide things. So, Casey.
I mean, like, I was gonna say though, but like even in present day, we have like nuclear power, which has been proven to be like both extremely safe and extremely efficient. Yet, I feel like a lot of companies or just people in general are moving towards like wind and solar power, even though we literally have this extremely valuable energy source like right in front of us.
That is still, I'm just going to say for me, that was still the biggest lie and disappointment I had in the Obama campaign is when he was speaking to become elected, which he succeeded. The one promise where I was like, man, if you actually do this, you're going to be a winner, was that he was going to start the production through General Electric, in particular, of additional nuclear power plants through his time as president, and then also reduce our need for foreign oil up. Because of that, I was like, man, this is the one win. I'm not voting for this guy, but this is the one win he can do. And then during his presidency, more nuclear power plants were reduced in output than increased. And that was really heartbreaking to me, because at the end of the day, guys, you can love electric cars. They're fast, they're fun, they're exciting. Ferrari's going to have the best one. They're on board. But at the end of the day, where's the power coming from? We're still burning coal to get this electric, or creating wind generators, which are rusting and creating more debris. And we're doing a lot of things where the nuclear power was right there. And at the end of the day, again, electric car's great.
Okay.
But it's not as efficient as a gas car.
But he doesn't even talk about electric cars here.
No, I'm just telling you, I went on your tangent.
All right, Casey, you have a tangent that you said.
I know. I was going to say, like, speaking of tangents, though, there is this one point that the guy talks about, out of his 37 that for whatever reason, I just completely latched onto. And it was kind of the idea of like the pyramids of Giza and how they're kind of, there's like a lot more going on to them than what they seem. And so at first he introduces the pyramids by discussing that they were actually created to reverse global warming by creating clouds. And, that in itself is already like a little bit out there. But then another point that he makes he starts talking about like anti-gravity technology. And then he starts making the connection between this anti-gravity technology and also the pyramids. And so I guess to like talk about anti-gravity technology, and maybe Jesse knows a little bit more about this because he has a little more of an engineering background than I do. But anti-gravity for the most part is like still existing in science fiction only. Not trying to get like weirdly political and stuff, but it was supposedly utilized by the Nazis. And like doing a little bit more research, kind of just the biggest thing that anti-gravity can be used for is time travel. And so another part of this is that the Great Pyramids were essentially organized in such a way that I guess it can kind of like harness or harbor the energy of like the solar flares and stuff to really just kind of be the catalyst for this anti-gravity technology. And so he makes this one point about the Twin Towers and like the World Trade Center, and quote unquote, they were designed and built for 9/11. They were designed to be destroyed using advanced technology. But honestly, that's the part that I started to like disagree with what he was saying. He's saying that like the World Trade Center was actually destroyed with this anti-gravity technology. And this Great Pyramids of Giza were like these obelisks, which again, like harness this energy. But this is like the entire reason I brought my laptop. I do have this like really fun graphic here.
Oh, nice. I love it.
Yeah, so I don't know. Do you want me to just send this to you and you can like superimpose it? All right. So it's essentially comparing the layout of the Great Pyramids to the World Trade Center and then again to the Orion's Belt, and how he describes it is what's called a Stargate. I can also just text this to you. Don't worry about it. But so essentially these Stargates can be used really to kind of just like for super, super fast travel in between different locations. And so I started looking more into like the World Trade Center and how it kind of like mimics these like Stargate patterns. And in my opinion, we've all kind of heard the conspiracy that 9/11 was like an inside job done by Bush in order to it's like promote war efforts or something, right? Something like that. But
Boost the economy.
something like that, yeah.
Or take away people's, if you talk about the New World Order, take away people's freedoms. And
Yeah. I'll get back to that point in a second. But so I looked into the people who actually built and designed the World Trade Center. So you have two really influential figures. You have Minro Yamasaki, probably butchered that name, but he also built the Pruitt-Igoe apartment complex in St. Louis, which was demolished with bombs. And the official story is that the area inhabitants were like really poor, so they did not pay rent. The building could no longer sustain itself, and the location's now like a fenced off urban forest. And that in itself is like kind of weird, but I'm not going to get down that rabbit hole. But he also like designed the Federal Reserve Bank, the Rainier Tower in Seattle, which was actually described as an inverted pyramid shape, which again kind of, ties back this whole conspiracy idea. And then the other really influential designer of the World Trade Center was a man named Emery Roth, who also designed the Ritz Tower, which is described as containing an obelisk at the top of the roof. At the time, it was one of the tallest buildings. He designed the Warwick Hotel in New York, which caters to the elites. So kind of the big point is that the two designers of the World Trade Center have really just had a lot of influence, really like all around New York, all around the country, really catering to the government, catering to the elite. So, these people definitely have their ties. And so my conspiracy that like kind of branches off this is that the World Trade Center and Twin Towers really did harness this power of anti-gravity, and that's the reason why it was destroyed. It wasn't destroyed by like George W. Bush for whatever reason to like promote the economy, promote the war, and it wasn't really destroyed like just as an act of terrorism. I think it was actually destroyed by these like higher beings of power, because we actually like unlocked the secret to this anti-gravity technology.
Okay, so this is interesting because
Oh my God, Noah Jr. My life.
So go I didn't quite go down the same rabbit hole.
I'm just
that you
gonna
went
get
down.
drunk now and
Actually,
pass out.
where I started going down is with also the 9/11, the Twin Towers. But listening and watching some of the stuff and reading things that Dr. Judy Wood was talking about regarding the energy technology that was used to destroy the Twin Towers. And she was talking about like if they were actually hit by an airplane or used by bombs. And she like even brings up in this 2-hour documentary that she does, and she brings up the interviews of all the like firefighters and everybody that was there that survived it. She said like they would like there would be like so much more rubble down on the ground. The size the earthquake machines, seismology, they would actually register like much more like vibrations on the ground and stuff. And she's like, just imagine like we have like a large dump truck that drives by, right? You can feel it. And she's like, you wouldn't. It didn't register on the graph like big huge chunks of rocks or pieces of building falling down. And when she talks about like how this energy technology was used, she's also showing like how when this happened, there was cars that were melted and stuff like that. And when you go back and look in 2019 at the Paradise California fire, they were reporting the same types of things, like a bright beam with like how like it only burned in certain spots and cars were like melted and stuff like that. So I think it's very interesting. I think there are energy technology out there that's being used as weapons. And if you want to talk about aliens and using this energy technology, apparently, if you
Jesse's like, oh no, why did we let her on the show?
No, I'm fully supporting all of this, except that we already know aliens exist. So if you want to talk about it, we already talked about it.
Apparently, there's Paradise, California. There's Palladians that live there.
Yeah, it's the Palisades.
No, the Palladians from the planet.
Palladians from Palisades. I got you.
Okay. Anyhow, apparently that's where like they had like a community there, and the reptilians were trying to destroy that area, and that's basically kind of ties into what you're talking about.
No, I hear you.
Does it? Now, from your perspective, Casey, does that tie into what you were saying, or is that a different angle?
See, I feel like it's a little bit of a different angle, but we have that kind of like central point though of
your point is that they destroyed the Twin Towers to hide the fact that this technology existed. He's saying they used this technology with the Twin Towers.
See, I don't know if the government necessarily destroyed it to hide it, but I think it was actually this higher being that doesn't want us to be able to discover it. And that's also part of why, you know, the people that are starting to like make these links between like cold fusion, anti-gravity do suddenly like mysteriously disappear. Or as like the guy was talking about, all these other like misinformation, disinformation campaigns start to like pop up as like that distraction to really detract people from, you know, finding the truth.
And I'm not even saying the government used it. I'm just saying it was used. And I think it could have been probably like Casey was saying, it could have been one of the alien races. If you start going down the rabbit hole, like looking at different alien races in the Paradise, California fires, and like David Wilcox has actually a really good like 2-hour like dissertation about like the Paradise, California fires, and then also all the different aliens that we are supposedly in contact with. It totally makes sense about these energy weapons being used. Because they're supposed to, there's something called disclosure that's supposed to be coming up. And 9/11 kind of just helped introduce these energy weapons to where disclosures soon to happen.
See, but like, I think that the idea that, you know, either the government or aliens or whatever are trying to destroy this technology, it kind of brings up the bigger question of why are they trying to prevent us from really fully exploring this new technology? Like, what are the real purposes of, you know, cold fusion? What are the real purposes of anti-gravity and all this stuff?
Time travel.
Could be time travel. And I think if you start looking at there's what's called the Alliance aliens, and then there's like the bad aliens, which are the Greys and the Reptilians. There's actually a battle going on, and the Greys, the Reptilians, they want to basically enslave humanity, so they don't want us to have that type of power. Where the Alliance, which is the Palladians, the Blue Avians, and I forget there's a couple others out there, but they want to bring us into the Alliance, but they won't officially bring us in until we actually get rid of the reptilians and the Greys.
All right, well, I'm not getting rid of the giraffes. Glenmorangie is saving the giraffes. I'm not getting rid of the giraffes. So I will tell you, though, I enjoy taking my son on hikes in search of a rattlesnake or any large snake because I want to catch it, kill it, and I mean, I'll be kind to it. I'll kill it quickly unless it doesn't let me, and then make him a belt. No, I just think that would be cool. He's made the basketball team, shows up to the first game with a rattlesnake belt.
Get like a rattlesnake basketball for the game. I think that'd be a pretty Chad move.
How about
that?
belt?
Are you listening?
Yes.
Diamonds over here. Diamonds. Anybody? I'm taking orders now. Rattlesnake basketballs, $20,000. I will absolutely risk my life to catch these snakes for $20,000. I just need payment in advance.
So what do you think about the Nazi belt? Do you think it was like a time travel thing or more anti-gravitational?
It's both. They're intertwined. So the difficulty here is that if you can do one, you can do both. If you can have anti-gravitation, it really, here's what this article doesn't. And I don't know if this guy wasn't smart enough. You know, I'm pretty smart. But I don't know if he wasn't smart enough so he went on that tangent or not. But when you have talked to me about the Earth has changed poles on multiple occasions, polarities. If you think about that in multiple dimensions, as if a core was on the outside and outside was in a core, you're changing elements. You're also changing their compound. It increases the potential for what happens now if you aim a proton accelerator at gold. Do you create an element that creates anti-gravitational matter? Maybe. Something that creates cold fusion? Absolutely not. But with combining the multitudes, they're all possible. It is literally possible.
So is there anything else that you want to mention about this particular subject since we're probably at our hour?
When he says probably, that means he has aimed the proton accelerator at my head. He's going to get gold and anti-gravitational matter. That's the Scotch. The biggest thing is, I would say, don't be ignorant. And really, This episode is going to run long. That's what she said. But my last point is free energy would create the need for a restructuring in a total economy. It doesn't matter what country, what area, what continent. It requires restructuring economies. Now, someone who says, oh, that's the only reason, they're wrong, because a government can easily say, well, now that we're not getting taxes of 20% of what we bring in based on fossil fuels or nuclear fuels or any other thing, we're just going to tax you 20% more based on anything you consume. They can do all these things. Interestingly enough, with everything that's going on, they're creating a structure, a government, a policy that provides that potential. I do think cold fusion is absolutely possible. I do think, now here's where it gets tricky. You start messing around with elements at the nucleus. It's no different than when you mess around with a being at the nucleus. You're changing its genes, if you will. So all of a sudden you've got a little 3-inch gecko that becomes a 300-foot tall dinosaur. It's no different than elements. So an example of this would be titanium. Titanium raw, soft, malleable, non-impressive, looks like clay. You can literally hit it with a harder item, cobalt, for example, and bend the heck out of it. But all of a sudden you start changing structures and you combine titanium with other alloys, and the structures are not so closely knit, they become bigger and larger and stronger. That's absolutely what you get. So all of these things are completely possible. Along with that, the government needing to change the structure, they can do that. They just need to create a basis. So whether that be cryptocurrencies or other forms of currencies, reasons to hold back XRP. Damn you! But just saying, yeah, it's all possible.
We're Lambo.
We're Lambo.
We're Lambo.
Yeah, you know Lamborghini. Okay, another tangent. Noah does this to me. Mostly because in the 5th grade, I got my first Car and Driver magazine, and it said if a Lamborghini, or actually if Rambo was a Lamborghini, he'd be this Countach. They just came out with a new Lamborghini Countach. If you haven't checked it out, you need to. Dynamite. Mind blown. So,
Wait, is that actually how it's pronounced? I've been pronouncing it a Countach.
Countach. Countach.
Okay.
Countach. And beautiful car. Super powerful.
Countach.
What are you talking? What are you talking about, bro? How would you have pronounced it?
How is that as Countach?
You know how to, anyone out there, this is Jesse's thing. Anyone out there who's like having a hard time figuring out how to spell Lamborghini, just do it to the Mickey Mouse theme. Lamborghini. Lamborghini. So with that, yeah, the cold fusion is absolutely possible. My struggle there is just if it's an altitude problem. It's not, by the way. Altitude would not restrict that. But anti-gravitational also possible, but it's more complicated than that.
So you were talking about how time travel's possible. Apparently, there's a where's the Amazon Prime? There's a movie or a documentary.
So are we like Amazon? Plug us, all right?
So you're gonna be like, oh, on Amazon you can buy a time machine. Like, oh, cool.
No, but there's a
Scotch shower just made $3.
There's this documentary that actually talks about how Russia had already discovered time travel, and it goes all into it and everything like that.
Yeah, no kidding, and it's all based on Trump. You got that right?
No, I didn't see that.
You got half the story, bro.
You got half the story?
Yeah.
Oh, I only just heard that there was a documentary on there talking about time travel.
Well, the whole story.
Are you talking about the book?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I know about the and about his son Baron and all that stuff that goes on.
Bingo.
Yeah,
the world is saved, by the way, you guys. Libertarians.
Yeah, I already know. Basically, Trump's the last president and talks about that.
Stop ruining it for everyone.
Okay.
Spoiler alert.
Anyhow, anything you want last points that you want to say about this topic? I mean, I'm sure this is
Or
a
dinner.
topic that can probably be like multiple if we actually went through all 37 points here. But
Yeah, honestly, there's nothing else that I really want to add. I just think it's kind of funny that Jesse definitely looks more at like the practical side of it. And here, like, me and Noah are talking about like aliens, 9/11, conspiracies. Like, I don't know. I just think that kind of like shows a lot of like our difference in personalities. I think that's really funny. That's kind of like really all I have to say about it, though.
well, I for that I would say like Jesse, you have like an engineering background, right?
Bingo.
And at the University,
Particularly
of
metallurgy, by the way, chemistry and physics. So this is pretty applicable. But here's the tricky thing. You can't go and try to explain to someone, hey, you just drank half a bottle of scotch. Let me explain to you, cold fusion doesn't work.
and then you got me. I have like my background was international affairs and political science. So I look at like all the ways that the government tries to screw people.
He's Japanese. He's talking about screwing people. This is more about the international affairs than the business.
Yeah, and then you got I'm part Japanese, so you got the camps and everything like that. So I have an honest distrust for the U.S. government.
He's talking about political camps.
Any case, so it makes total sense why I look more at the
Talking about
sides.
the senses of the nose, the palate.
But I don't know why do you have a healthy distrust? Or
Honestly,
minor distrust, so you don't want to get shot.
Oh, right. I don't know. I guess like back in high school, like my freshman and sophomore year, I actually used to lean really, really far left in terms of the political spectrum. I used to really, really believe in like, certain topics, I guess, that are just really prevalent in the left. And then as I grew older, I kind of started seeing like a lot of the flaws in like their logic of that side, and I started leaning a lot more right wing. And then really just as I've grown older, and even like really just this past like year and a half especially, I've really just become like a lot more skeptical about what the government's been doing, kind of like the hidden motives behind it. And then like this semester I am like back in college, so I am taking like a poli-sci course, and we've talked a lot about kind of like the misleading things like the government talks about. And so that's like really helped me, I guess, like open my mind to a lot more of the stuff that I used to ignore when I was younger.
Always follow the money. That's probably about the best advice I can give. Follow the money, and then you know why they're saying what they're saying.
Oh yeah.
Anyways, all right. So that's any last words about the Scotch?
Okay, all right. I'm going to stick with a light golden color, not that bronzy color of the Macallan edition. The Macallan, by the way, the Macallan edition 6. As it's opened up,
It's Macallan 6.
I do that.
Dancing or
If
something.
I see
was like,
him
okay.
edit that in perfectly, I'm going to be pissed because normally I'll be like, and he'll be like, and here we go. And there's no editing back to the picture. So
What are you talking about? I put pictures up and you see that.
episode, bro.
Last
Never
episode.
mind. We will revisit this personally, but no, I think it's opened up nicely. There is no more heat. It as I sip it, there's no heat at the front. It's actually very well balanced from a standpoint of it tapers off. It's a long finish. It tapers off slowly. It would not be my number one go-to with a Scotch, but man, there's no complaints here. It's like a great home cooked dinner. It was perfect for the Italian restaurant, the Odyssey Italian restaurant's dinner. Is that it's a little confusing. It's not bold. It's not meek by any sense, but it is not. If you're a Lagavulin fan, negative Ghost Rider. If you're a Talisker fan, probably not. If you're a Macallan fan, you got some good chances here. Absolutely floral, vanilla, a little bit of citrus. For me, it's absolutely lime. It's enjoyable. It would be fun with a berry plate. Yeah.
All right. Casey, any last words on the Scotch?
Honestly, no. Like my palate and my Scotch experience is nowhere near as comprehensive as Jesse's is. I do like enjoy this one just because it does have like that really nice sweet like finish and aftertaste to it. I am like kind of curious though, how much did you pay for this?
Oh, this
It's like-
was about 70.
Yeah, it's 70.
Okay. So like a little bit more expensive than like the 12 year, I guess.
Yeah, not terribly, but a little bit.
At Total Wine, right?
Total wine.
Total Wine.
I don't know. I guess like from my experiences, I probably wouldn't spend like the extra money for this version from it. I probably would stick with like the 12 year if I were to go with like another Glenmorangie, but overall, like it is really good. So
All right. I like the color. It's a light color. It's not like the dark brassy, but I did like honestly the Macallan 6 over here somewhere.
Oh, I see it.
I do like the color. I like that darker gold, but this lighter gold is not too bad. It has a honey color to it. The flavoring is kind of nice. I do like how it has that little bit of a sauterne, like that flavor from the sauterne. Being like, since I do love wine, I like that kind of sweetness that comes in through there. And overall, I think it's a great bottle. I think it's a good one that if you want to bring it to the holidays, you can bring it to like a Christmas dinner. Or even, if you want just a little sweeter Scotch, it'll fit that bill as well. All right. Anything you guys want to say to the people before we
Yeah, a couple quick things. Number 1, do not ever drink and drive. Number 2, do not ever drink and drive. Okay?
You don't want to say anything else to the people? That's it? Okay.
That's it for tonight. I know you'll finish up.
Casey?
I don't know. I guess just like make sure that you keep an open mind, keep asking questions, make sure that the beliefs that you hold really are your beliefs and not manufactured by like external forces. It's kind of the big thing for me.
All right.
Or extraterrestrial.
Do you check out David Wilcox? The aliens.
I thought you were going to say Miss Obama.
You talking about Mr. Obama? Michael
My
Obama?
point stands. Now Noah's going to wrap up.
All right. So if you like our show, please give us a thumbs up. Please like, share, and subscribe. Also, let us know what you think about this topic here. I'll drop the link for the Reddit, so anyone who watches the show, you guys can see what we're talking about here. We are on YouTube and Rumble for video. Audio-wise, we're on Podbean, Spotify, Google Podcasts, Amazon Music, and Audible Podcasts. And thank you once again, everyone, for being a patron or even being a person that listens or watches our show. We greatly appreciate all your support. And since I did mention the patrons, when you first come down, when you go into the comments area, if you want to become a patron, it is the very first option. Just take that link, click on the link. I've had people ask me how do I become a patron? Just go into the comments and any of the videos. It's the very first thing in the comments. You just click on that very first link. At least for me, it's I don't know. Maybe
It's the first different colored thing.
Yes, it's
It's
the first link in there. But in any case, I will if I have to, I'll even do a little session with a little screenshot that shows you how to go.
Yes, please do make an ad for that, Noah, so you can teach the other people who were like, I wanted to go donate, but I couldn't find. I'm
You
out.
can even put the link in, be like, oh, click on the patron. Right there. You can edit that in.
Please do that right there. That's perfect. She was just our spokesperson and model.
I'll try to do that.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. And what?
Man, you know what, Casey? Thank you for being on the show.
Oh yeah, thank you, Kate.
Yeah, thank you so much for
Life
having me.
is great.
Yes, I went and got to the life is great part.
All right, man. I wasn't trying to cut you off.
But in any case, I guess over there.
You gotta hold your drink up. You didn't have your hand in it. I was afraid you were gonna forget.
Life is great.
Life is
Same
great.
Scotch time, same Scotch channel. Thank you, everyone. We appreciate you. And become a patron member.
Yeah. Cheers.
Cheers.
Matrix coming.
We hope you enjoyed this evening's episode of Scotch Hour. If you did, please like, share, and subscribe. Also, if you have not done so already, please become a patron member, with memberships starting as low as $1 a month. Thank you, and hopefully you have a wonderful evening.